Okay, so let's continue again. So as you can see here, this is our home page. So let's start with this part or this home page part of our WordPress theme. As I have said on the very first video that we have submitted, WordPress or this front page, the PHP that you're seeing right now. Let me close these other tabs that are not really necessary for a moment. Sorry, please understand. Alright. So yeah, as I have first said in the very first video that we have submitted, the front page, the PHP is a special page or PHP template or WordPress template because it automatically injects itself in our home page. So everything that we see here in our home page are being handled by this WordPress template called frontpage.php. And as you have noticed, we have the get header function and get footer function. It's because how will I say this? In general, this page handle our home page. Okay, so now let's start on the get header function. This get header function is a WordPress built-in functionality, and what this does is it automatically locate our header, this one, the header uh, template that header page. Sorry, I'm a little bit sleepy, but I hope please consider the header.php is one of our WordPress template. It's called WordPress page template. So from our front page, the get header.php locates our header.php automatically. So whatever the content of our header.php will be automatically injected into our front page. So there's a lot of stuff that you can see in our header.php, so I'm gonna try to explain them one by one, but please bear in mind that all of this is just a basic template HTML, and the rest of it is being handled by the WordPress software. So we have the HTML tag, the head, and yeah, meta types, the title of our theme. Here we have the WP head. We will get there later on, but yeah, let's just continue. These are all the content of our header.php. So we got some styling, we got a button. This toggle button will only show if we will minimize our screen. See that? That is our toggle button. It's being handled by the I'm using Bootstrap here, so yeah, it's Bootstrap that is responsible for the showing and hiding of that toggle button, but it comes handy for us. We don't really have to define our own custom style like media query so that we can hide and unhide toggle button. So that's one way or one advantage of using the Bootstrap library. Okay, So let's proceed. By the way, let's go back to this WP head. You might wonder what this does. WP head is a function that the WordPress provides. What this does is it automatically injects this function, the PHP, this one, into our header. So whatever this function that PHP contains will be automatically injected into our header. That's what this WP head does. So if we have some logic in our functions that PHP, it will be handled. Now what I'm trying to say is whatever the function that we have here will be injected into our header. So it's just that simple. It's injecting or including it into our header because I do not have any word to explain it further. So yeah. By the way, if you wonder what is this function that PHP, I already talked about this in the first video. Again, this is a plugin that comes along with WordPress. So if you want to override WordPress default functionality, you can use this function that PHP to do that. So as you can see, we get a lot of things going on here, but we will not gonna talk about this right now because we're still on the header part. So yep, let's go back to our header. So yeah, just bear in mind that this WP head is just injecting whatever we have in our function.php into our header. And this body class, it's also a WordPress functionality, built-in functionality that we can use. So whatever the class that we already defined, WordPress will go and to inject that automatically into our body. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about the style here, but I'll just going to talk about our WordPress functionality as much as possible. I'm gonna try to explain them one by one. So let's continue. So this one, what this does is if in case we have a logo in our theme or in our website, this will just go into check if our logo or custom logo exists. And if it does, it will go into get the we're going to use the get theme mode. It's a built-in function again with the ID of custom logo. And after we get the ID of our custom logo, automatically we can use this WP get attachment image source. So it will get the image source of that ID and save that into our logo variables so that we can use it here, and we can put the style on our logo just in case we have a logo, but if we don't, then it will not going to show. So that's why I'm putting it into an if statement. Actually, you might wonder why I didn't do it like this. It's because it's quite handy. As you can see, I can put a style here. That's why I'm doing it like this. So yeah, let's continue. This WP nav menu is another WordPress built-in function, and what this does is, you guessed it, it's just looping through all the menus that we have on our WordPress theme. So we're making it dynamic, so if we will down to add menus from our back end from here, where was that? Allow me a minute. Menus. Oh, sorry. Let me remove this. If you're going to add more menus here, automatically WordPress will going to loop through it and display it here. So that's what this WP nav menu is doing. So specifying that this menu is primary menu, and we have the theme location, which is the top menu, and the menu class is top bar, and we wrap our menu with this class so that we can style it. And then we have our header closing tag. As you've noticed, we don't have the closing tag for our body and also for our HTML. It's because as you have as you can remember, it's being injected here, so the closing tag goes here. So what this get footer does is the same thing as what this get header does. It also it looks right away for our footer.php and inject it in our front page, so that whatever we have in our footer.php will be automatically injected here in our front page, so that you'll not going to have an error. We have only few things in our footer. By the way, you notice the WP footer function is another WordPress functionality. It come handy whatever it's doing the same thing of what our WP head is doing. It's injecting our function.php into our footer. So whatever the logic that comes into our function.php, it will be inserted right away into our footer.php. So see, we have our footer here. So studentgroup.org at MDC students. So that's our footer. You might wonder where this search come from. Let me go back here. This is, if I will go into comment this get search form, automatic it will not display there anymore. So this function, what this function does is it's a built-in functionality of WordPress that it automatically looks for our search form.php here. We have the search button, the label, and also our input value. So it automatically looks for this page and then inject that into our home page so that we can use it. So let me refresh our page and see. I know it's a lot, but we're not done yet. We're still on the tip of the iceberg, so I hope you will stick till the end. So that is all about our homepage.